We have carried out a labor reform that has had an impact. I always give this example. Foreign investment in Spain is a very positive figure. It's increasing a lot. Look at the automotive sector. Major multinationals in the automotive sector are investing billions of euros in Spain in recent months, and the reason for that is the labor reform. And so we are now evaluating this labor reform, and we want to have an independent outside evaluator. It's going to be the OECD. And if it were necessary for Spain to sort of do some touch-ups on this reform, you can be very sure that we will. What we have found is that with less economic growth, we are now generating more employment, and that's a direct result of the labor reform, and the government is going to either maintain it or go even deeper with it.
And it's also leading to export growth, which I know is something that you're very proud of, and we've seen in the numbers. Would it help if there were a weaker euro? Something that's been challenging for some of the members, the exporters in Europe, has been the euro, which this morning is above 135 again.
You're talking about the exchange rate. Well, what do you want me to say? I mean, of course that would help. But in any case, that's not exclusively something that depends on us. I mean, obviously Spanish exports, which is 1/3 of our GDP, has gone up a lot. That is the biggest success story in Spanish society. We had an 11% deficit in the foreign sector, and now we've got a surplus of 2.5%. In 2013, Spain is now the country in the European Economic and Monetary Union which has had the highest export growth, and that gives us a lot of hope. That means that we're improving our competitiveness, and of course, if the exchange rate were a little bit lower, that would be really good for Spanish exports. I've been saying that for a very long time.
The bank bailout has also been a success story for Spain, and I know you're awaiting an assessment in November. It is set to expire in January, and assuming that there has been progress and it will not need additional funding, how does that end? Is it cold turkey, or will there have to be some sort of support measures to help with the ending of that program?
Spain asked for up to 100 billion euros from the European Union to restructure and recapitalize its financial system, which was going through tough times. It was only necessary for us to use 40 billion out of that 100 billion euros. And we had a transparency exercise like no other country in the world did. Spanish financial entities are more transparent and better capitalized than any other. And we have two things that we want to do that we're going to tackle now. First, we want to get out of this program. The decision will be made in the Eurogroup in November, as you know very well, as you said. We don't think we're going to need more from them, and I think at 1 January we'll be in a different situation. That would be very good for Spain, and it would be very good for the Eurozone. But there's a second thing, which is that since the European Central Bank is now going to become, as a consequence of the situations that were taken for the banking union, the ECB is going to become the supervisor of the European banks. We want all of those banks to undergo the same analysis process that the Spanish banks did, because this is going to give security to all of the financial entities in Europe.
But are you worried that come January, if the program does end, as you anticipate that it would and that it should, that the market risks getting nervous again without having the troika checks, those regular checks by the EU, the IMF, and the ECB?
I don't think so, because we were able to get this aid for up to 100 billion euros, and we only spent 40 billion of it. If we'd wanted to, we could have used 70 billion, but we didn't. And that exercise was done with the European Central Bank, the European Commission, the EBA, the IMF, and independent evaluators. They were the ones who established what were going to be the financial needs of our banking entities. And I think that we have been meeting all of our obligations. I think we've done a good job, and we're going back to a situation of normality. And it's a really good news for everybody, and I'm very, very happy about that.